we're recording. Okay, well, I guess it's just happening. Cool. So what is today? Today's February 19th, 2026, the year of the horse, year of the fire horse. This is the Chinese New Year if you aren't in the know, which honestly, I don't know that much about it either, but I do know that it's the year of the fire horse, and we're just coming out of the year of the snake. And what the year of the snake means to me is the shedding of old skin. And that means something to me because if you look at my life and the path that I've taken, maybe it's not even so much the path that I've taken, the path that I've been led down my whole life, whether I've liked it or not, has honestly just been one of trials and tribulations and struggles. And through all of that, there's been a ton of beauty as well. And it's taken time to realize that. And sometimes it takes being removed and looking at it from a different perspective, maybe from higher up, from further back, but regardless, removed. Because when you're in the midst of the trials and tribulations, it can feel heavy and it can feel dark and it can feel lonely and just hard, but lonely. I can attest to that for sure. But that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to talk about all of the challenges and all of the struggles that I've been through, which there have been a lot. But I'm really talking more about not necessarily the future, but the crossroad. So it is it's 12:17 right now. At 12:40, so in 23 minutes, if you look at the planetary alignments, don't ask me exactly what it is, but we're hitting the zero axis point of something and something and something. And what that signifies is that we're leaving an old timeline, leaving an old life, walking away from my old life. This is just the way that I'm looking at it, and looking forward into the future and the new life. So if we go back to the snake and shedding of the skin and leaving the year of the snake and moving towards the year of the fire horse, what does the fire horse signify? That's right, strength. And I mean, that's really what I'm focusing on, and my plan is to embody in the future. Moving forward is just leaning on the strength that I've gained over the past lifetime. But the past 7 years has been beyond difficult. I've lost a lot. And I've gained a lot as well. The gain isn't quite so visible right now in this moment, but I believe that because I'm at this crossroads, that it's going to become much more visible in the very near future, like starting today and tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. And why do I believe that? Because I have faith. That's it. I just have faith. And it's my faith in God. Just saying that makes me think back to, I was probably about 21 years old, and I was waiting tables in downtown Boise. And I was waiting on this couple, and they asked me, they go, "Do you have faith?" And I think they said faith in God. And I grew up in the Catholic Church, and so faith didn't resonate with me at that moment in history. And I didn't know. I was 21 years old. I was just having fun. I was party boy at that point. I was just having fun. And if I say party boy, because that's one of the masks that I wore for many years. That's a different video. But they asked me if I had faith, and I just was dumbfounded. I had no answer, and I just kind of probably hummed and hawed and stuttered, in which, it's hard to stump me. I usually have a pretty good way of just figuring out what to say in any situation at any time. I always have. I've always just been able to talk, even though it might not be like my forte, and might not be the most comfortable thing or the thing that I want to do, is to put myself out there. But I do, and I've just never had a problem doing it because it's just been a part of my journey, and I've known that for my whole life. I grew up with a video camera in my hand, literally, like from the time I was probably, I don't know, 19. I had a video camera and I was just always recording. And that was just part of God's plan for me, honestly, was just getting me comfortable in front of you here right now. But they asked me if I had faith, and I basically hummed and hawed and said, not really. I mean, I don't know. And it took me a long time to figure out whether I did or didn't have faith. And in the end, I did. And it took me having kids. It was when Connor was born. I knew that I just, like inside, I just knew that I wanted to have a strong foundation. There was a better answer than the Catholic Church and all of the rituals and just all the shame, honestly, all the shame. And again, that's another video for another time as well, which I probably will talk some about here in the near future. But I just wanted to have faith. And so my new wife and I at the time, we found a church that it resonated with us. It was more based on the teachings of the Bible, and that seemed at the time to be, of real benefit. It's like, yeah, I want to know what are the teachings of Jesus and how can I relate it to my life, and how can I apply it? So not just hear about it and know about it, but apply it to my life to live just a better, more well-rounded life. That path gave me understanding, but it didn't resonate as well, honestly, in the end. Like, I just saw too many holes in every aspect of modern religion. And even in good churches that we were a part of, there was just still too many holes that I personally saw. And I think that's just a gift that God gave me, is discernment and the ability to see through things, especially see through things that just don't make sense. Maybe I wanted to say a logical way, but logic is different for everybody. I would say more it didn't make sense in his way, even though at the time I didn't know what his way was. But the reason that I say that is that I believe that the modern Bible, modern, it's 2,000 years old. The Bible has been warped and has been created by greedy men. Yeah. One of the only classes that I took in college that I remember, seriously, and I enjoyed was a class on early Christianity. And it focused around the reign of Constantine. Again, God put that in as a part of my plan. He's like, I'm going to put you in this class and you're going to enjoy it. I've always loved history. It's just been something I've always geeked out about. But I took that class, and Constantine wanted to find a way to bring all of the religions together so he could control the world. I'm not shitting you. That's exactly what happened. And so he got all of the greediest motherfuckers out there together at the Creed of Nicaea to strip the Bible clean of anything that didn't fit his agenda. And that's a fact. And so that was the hole that I saw in religion. Now looking back at it, now I have better perspective because I've really dove deep. I see you. God shows me signs, I swear. Just the pattern in the sky right now. It's only something he could have done. I totally lost my train of thought. I didn't want to have to edit any of this out. And I wanted to create a video that is going to be my intro video for YouTube. So it's going to be like, why am I sharing the stuff that I'm sharing? Well, this is why, right here, right now. God's put some things in my heart over the past 4 months. I had a spiritual awakening starting in mid-December, and he zapped me. He did. And I'm not going to get into like all the details of that experience, It's been intense though. The past 3 months has been just a whirlwind, mostly of emotions, because I've like found my heart through this process. God opened my heart up, because for my whole life, many years, I joked about it and I said that I didn't have an emotions chip. God did not build me with an emotions chip. And the thing is, he did. It just got buried under trauma and under emotional neglect as a kid growing up. And I've said this so many times. I'm going to say it in every single video because I have parents who did the best job that they possibly could under the circumstances with their own trauma, with their history, with their family lineage going back that affected them and eventually caught up to me. And here I am sitting on top of this mountain, on a very pivotal day and a pivotal time in history. I believe that that we're on the axis of a tipping point in history, and we're walking away from the past, a history that's been really geared more around greed, around distraction, around influence, and influence in maybe not the best kind of ways, and much more. I think you understand the world that we're living in. Like seriously, I'm not telling you something that you don't know. The world has just come to a place where God has said, we need to change things. I need to change things. And I said we because I believe that I'm a co-creator in this, and he's tapped me and he woke me up in December to help him. That's it. And how am I going to do that? Because I'm just a guy that's been through so much shit. And a lot of people that know me especially probably be like, they laugh. They're going to laugh, and I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Because my relationship with God's really what matters to me more than anything. And I think that people are going to see through me that although I may not have been perfect throughout my life, because I haven't been, I've fallen on my face so many times. I've failed. I've turned my back on him. I've always believed deep down inside, but I just didn't think that he gave a shit about me. So I just ignored him. I just pretended like he wasn't a thing. He wasn't there. But how am I going to help him co-create? By doing just this. And there's probably going to be more to it. But for right now, let's just say that I'm just going to share my story. I'm going to share my many stories and just peel back the layers and be completely authentic with you. That's it. That's what he's told me to do. He said, just show them what you've been through, what you've experienced, what you've persevered through, how you got through it, and just help them understand the path to a life of fulfillment. And when I say fulfillment, I mean a life filled with God, inside of your body. Not just hypothetically, I read the Bible and I go to church, because that was me for so many years. And I was active. I volunteered. I did parking for years. I volunteered in the kids' room whenever I could and they needed help. Men's groups, setting up, breaking down. I was active. And I think I just did it. I did it because I wanted to have a healthy foundation, especially for my kids, and be a good person. But it just never did anything for me. It didn't help me, I don't think. Even maybe it helps it. Yeah, I'm sure it helps some people, but it didn't resonate with me. It never resonated. I think I've always been looking for more of a one-on-one relationship with God. How can God come into my life and help me to peel back my eyeballs, the layers that are fogging me and getting in my own way of being a good person and showing up the way that he wants me to show up. And that it kind of the thought came back to me about the Bible and the the Bible as it is today and being structured the way that it was. And it filled me with so much shame throughout my whole life, especially all those years that I was active and involved in the church. I didn't feel like I was perfect, and I felt like I was failing all the time because I just wasn't living up to the Bible the way that it was, and because I didn't believe in it. I just didn't believe in it. But there have been so many parts of God's and Jesus's teachings that were stripped from the Bible, and were found in 1945. I can't remember the name of all the things, but there were all of these parts of Jesus's life and his teachings and his disciples that were stripped because it didn't fit the conformity of how Constantine wanted to structure his domain. Because it talked about more sovereignty, like being self-sovereign, having a direct relationship with God, being able to structure your life in such a way that you strip back the layers of that are inside of you that make room for God. And in today's world, today's society, we don't have room. Very few people. There are people out there, I'm sure, but very few people in today's society have room for God in their bodies and in their hearts. And not like I want to be a pastor. I'm going to be a pastor. I'm not. I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to live my life. But I'm going to live it in a very authentic way, and in a way that I believe God wants me to show up. And hopefully through that, people will see that there is a direct path to God that doesn't go through any church. It doesn't go through any church. And that's going to really piss the churches off. And like, I'm one guy sitting on top of this mountain right here, although it is a blessed mountain. But it's gonna ruffle some feathers, but I'm not gonna be the only one. Like, the world's changing right now. There is an awakening happening in this moment where it might not be completely widespread and known. It's getting there. It's becoming more and more. And I think that as time goes on over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, it's going to be worldwide, global news. It's going to be in the news even. Like, what's happening to the world right now. And you already look at what's happening in the world right now, and shit is going down. Structures are falling. Structures that have been in place for lifetimes, that have been built over lifetimes, but they've been built on false foundations. Greed, envy, all the words like that. I literally have had no plan on what to say. I just knew I was going to come up here and try to create an intro video for YouTube. I wanted to do it without editing it, but it's probably, I can't even see. It's probably getting so long that I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. But whatever, I don't care. I don't care. I'll have it long. Have it be long. The people that will want to watch it, they'll watch it, and they don't. But I've been recording a lot of my journey over the past 3 months, and I haven't been sharing. I've shared very little of it. And the stuff that I have shared, I haven't widely distributed. It's not like I've stood on top of a mountain and said, hey, look at my stuff. Look at all my shit that I'm going to bear to the world. Because there's some heavy stuff. Like, it's hard. It's been hard past 3 months because I've had to strip myself, my insides, get rid of all the trauma. I found a way. And I did it on my own. God didn't show me this way. And maybe he did through his own subliminal way that he does things, but I just knew I needed to fix myself because I hit a point about 4.5 months ago where I didn't want to live anymore. I didn't. And through that experience, and in the end, I did want to live. I made the choice. I wanted to live. And then there were a couple of choices after that, and it took me about a month to make the final choice where I finally chose myself. I chose myself because my whole life I've done things for other people, things that I thought that would make them love me, make me feel loved, which it just it never worked, never happened. I've never felt love, except from Chuck. Seriously. I've had this idea in my mind my whole life. I've always just, I don't know why, I've just always had these two words in my mind, unconditional love. Like, it's just been a part of me. And I feel like I've always shown up for people that way, even though they didn't feel it, but I did. Like, the authentic me that was in that moment, like, I gave as much as I could possibly give of the love that I had inside of me. I believe that. That's just what I believe. But it wasn't enough for really anybody in my life except for Chuck. He is the only person, starting at like 15 years old, when I just went off the rails. And I made some choices that hurt my other kids, and like, I get it. I own it. I've owned all my shit at this point. I had to do a deep dive into myself and understand what happened. Like, where did I go wrong? Where did I make wrong choices? What crossroads did I take the wrong path? But Chuck has stood by me throughout the whole thing. He just never blinked. And I thank him, like, on a fairly consistent basis, just for never giving up on me and just unconditionally loving me. My parents, nope. They had conditions. I had to show up and be a certain way in order for them to honestly love me. That's it. And I've lost a lot of relationships along the way, and that's okay. It's brought me to where I'm at, and the ones that will be repaired through this process will, and the ones that won't, they won't. And the ones that won't, I believe they'll be because of egos just get in the way. I stripped myself clean. Like, do I still have an ego? Of course. Like, we've all got an ego. But I stripped mine back so much that I don't lead with it, and it doesn't control me by any stretch of the imagination at this point in my life. I am a self-sovereign being. I control my own destiny, my choices at this point moving forward, and my ego does not. Hence me being able to just open up to you and hopefully make a difference in people's lives. Because there are a lot of people like me that have been living in the shadows for many years. And it's dark. It's lonely. You feel isolated. It's cold. You're frustrated. You don't know where to turn. You don't know what to do. And that was me for so many years. And I isolated myself hard. I have very few friends to this day. They all walked away, and I walked away maybe too, but like, I haven't heard from any of my friends for many years. That's okay. It was just part of my path. My saying is, I'm safe. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and this is just a part of my journey. And this is just part of my journey that God's put me on. So I'm going to sit here at the top of this mountain, probably going to pray, probably going to do some breath work, probably going to do some humming, because these are things that help me to regulate my body to allow God in. So I can hear, I don't hear him so much. I feel him more than anything, because I don't hear voices or anything, but I'm led, I believe, and I feel him inside me. He came inside of my body one day in December. I said, God, just fill me with your love and light. God, fill me with your love and light. God, fill me with your love and light. And through my left hand, I felt the shock go through my hand, up my arm, fill my whole body, my head, and just go right into my heart. And from that day forward, God's lived in my heart. It sounds weird to say it out loud, especially if I'm going to put this on YouTube, but I am. I don't care. God lives in my heart. It's a fact. He does. And he's guiding my life at this point, and I'm excited about life, and I'm at a crossroads. You know, I said I've shed the skin and I'm moving forward. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. I believe that, and I expect nothing but abundance, but prosperity, but love and good things in my life. And hopefully through me, you can see the power of God and what he can do in just one person's life. Because I'm sure you'll hear more of my story as time goes on, but like I've had nowhere to turn, no one to turn to. Poor as poor. Haven't worked for a long time. Haven't been able to work because of the chronic freeze that I was in. Like I couldn't move forward with my life. There was something that held me back, that looked at the life that I was living that said, I will not live that life again. And that was God. He was saying, you weren't meant to live in the grind of life. You were meant to live a different life. And through the awakening, he's shown me the type of life that he wants me to live. So I'm just being faithful, and I'm just continuing to open up my body even today. Like I just am going to breathe and ground myself and regulate my nervous system, because I've had to learn how to do that over the past 4 months, and it's been brutal. I've cried more than you could possibly imagine. God. I've cried more in 4 months than I have in my whole life. 10x, 100x, I don't even know, a lot of X's. Because for most of my life, I never even cried because I just didn't have that emotional side of me. Ask anybody near me. But the funny thing is, on the outside, people would have looked at me and said, oh, his life looks perfect. Maybe not perfect, but looks awesome. Like, beautiful, great wife that is just kind, loving, caring, loves her kids. She's a great mom. Beautiful, just charismatic kids that are unique, each in their own way, and have like a zest for life, and are just awesome. They're just awesome freaking kids. I have 3 great kids. I had a great business for many years until I didn't, and I just didn't want to. The trauma built up over time, and I hit too many big traumatic events, and it broke me. God broke me down until I got to the point where I had no other choice than to start living life differently. That's what he did. So hopefully you don't have to do that. You literally don't have to be broken down as hard and as deep as I was. Because for many years, I've just lived in an ice cave. A lot of people probably are like, where'd Andy go? He just disappeared. I did. I disappeared. That chronic freeze, it just stopped my life in its tracks, and that stemmed from toxic shame, just the shame that I felt from where I'd ended up in my life, and I just felt horrible about myself. I hated myself. I hated life. I did, like, I was experiencing some new aspects of life just being on my own. Like, I was alone. So God put a couple people in my path that helped shape me and helped break me down even more, is what he did. And it worked. But I'm only looking forward now. I'm only looking forward. The sun is shining on my face. It is a new day. It is a new dawn. The universe is mine. But you do not need to go, you don't need to fall to the depths that I did. If you're feeling like you're hiding in your shadows, in the darkness, and life just feels heavy and it feels hard, and you feel confused and you don't know what to do, I'm not saying I'm going to be the answer, because like I'm no savior. I don't know. All I can do is just show you what I did, and help show you the light, because I believe that God put light inside of me, inside of my heart. And he said, Andy, be a light for me. Go out into the world, bear your heart and all the darkness that you went through, and be a light for people. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I hope that I am able to make a difference in your life. I'm just one guy. I'm just one guy that is hoping and praying that I can make a difference in this great big world and just show people the love that God has for them, and the real world, real life ability to open up your body and your heart to allow God in. So I'm going to leave you with this, and this is from my mother-in-law who passed away from ALS, and she's my guardian angel. Thank you, Vava. Just go out into the world and be kind. That was her saying. She loved the Beatles, and she just wanted the world to be a kind place, and she was an earth angel. She was an angel that lived on this earth and was just meant to make people's lives better, and she was so strong through her ALS every day. She showed up with strength that and a smile that most people never would have. So she continues to guide me to this day. I believe this. She keeps me out of trouble sometimes and makes sure that I stay on the right path. So go out into the world and be kind, friends, and find your light. Find your light and let it shine into this crazy dark world that we're living in right now. Peace.